Yok, ben ararım da.
Hi guys, I'm very sorry about the shaky camera there for the first few minutes. I was busy on a second device setting it up for somebody. But I'm at the Clerkenwell Green area, outside a couple of the important churchy type buildings at Islington in London. In approximately an hour we should be at Trafalgar Square, where the large May Day celebration, the workers' celebrations, an international event, should be happening. The event traditionally isn't a huge one in Britain nowadays, very, very sadly. And as I walk through the crowd, you'll see far more people from international backgrounds than you will local London folk or folk from the majority of the UK. It's disappointing, the lack of trade union type banners, etc. Since this is representative of workers, I would have expected more trade unions to be involved. But let's have a wander through. Surprised you're not wearing a bib this year.
I decided let some of the younger people take it straight.
Do you want to go on camera and say hello? Do you want to go on camera and say hello and tell people what's happening?
Yeah.
I bumped into a compadre that people might recognise from the various occupations that have happened around about London, involved with the May Day celebrations last year. So, how's life and what's happening today, and why are you not wearing a bib?
Right, first of all, May Day greetings to all comrades and friends. Remember this day as the Workers' Day. First marches took place in Chicago, believe it or not, and has been taken up all around the world. This might not be the biggest demonstration in London, but it certainly adds to the demonstrations that are taking place throughout the world, especially in Europe at the present time, in Greece and in Spain, and in France and also in Germany. we've gathered together here today and we'll march to Trafalgar Square to celebrate the Workers' Day internationally. And the question you asked me, why am I not wearing a bib? I decided this year I won't steward the march, I'll just be an ordinary participant in the march. I'm just waiting for my trade union banner to turn up, so I can probably help carry that.
I was just saying, I was surprised at how few trade union banners there are.
Well, the problem is that it's run by the southeastern region of the Trade Union Congress, but doesn't really get the support of the Trade Union Congress.
That's amazing.
National body. Historically, there always used to be a march on the first Sunday of May, which was organised, well, there were two marches, one which was organised by the Communist Party of Great Britain, and the second one was organised by the TUC and Labour Party. Obviously, the Labour Party at the present time doesn't seem to want to associate itself with workers, wants to associate itself more with the bankers, unfortunately. So we are left fighting to bring about alternative parties that will take up the struggle on behalf of the workers.
It needs to happen. Something needs to happen. But is there still a TUC march this year at all?
No. I believe there's a May Day march being carried out tonight.
Thank you very much. I am not aware of any. And disappointingly, the size of the crowd I've already mentioned being disappointing. 1,000-ish. But even more disappointingly, and a historic march that's happened for a long time in London, doesn't ever get very large. The number of police officers in vans is colossal. And you have to ask, when it's a peaceful march like this, why have so many police in vans? In vans, they're not there to protect the public. The police in vans are there to retaliate against the march if they don't like what's happening with the march. If they were around to facilitate, to assist the march, they would be walking at the side of the streets, keeping people clear of traffic, keeping pedestrians safe, keeping the marching people safe. But when they are just sat in vans, what a waste of money. What a waste of a reputation of the apparently decent British police forces. But ours is not the reason why. Let's just try and make a change somewhere. Actually, does it show any websites or anything on it?
Yeah, on the back. There.
If you want some further information, guys, on what's happening on here, hit the pause button.
Our national contact outlet.
Okay,
our website.
Just let them see all the legal contacts as well.
I think Candy is just trying to keep it local. Version campaign didn't agree to 1,000 stickers to leave it off. They said 2. And I upped the design of it. The wording was a bit weak, I think.
Half a pensioners.
192A. (192C). 192B. Serial 190 Alpha. 193C. 191C. Worryingly, these ones on this side don't appear to have any indications of the references apart from the index plates. This one may have though. No. So the vehicles on just behind me at the moment, apart from their index plate, which all British cars are required to have apart from the Queen apparently, no indications of their unit. So LX54JBU, Juliet Bravo uniform. Beta Golf 07 Foxtrot Oscar Mike. Lima X-Ray 56 Foxtrot Victor Oscar. So far I haven't seen any vehicles from the TSG, so this is a bit of a boost. Not surprising, the number of police outriders, they are the primary kind of security for the march. Blocking off the streets ahead as people walk up. I'm sorry about coming off the beaten path, but this is one of the things I like to do on broadcasts. I've already had a walk around without the camera, but having a walk around with the camera just before the march kicks off we got a good idea just now of vans. Lima X-Ray 05 Delta Victor November. Good idea of vans, and then for the capacity of the vans being fairly easy to estimate, the number of police in the area and whether or not people are already being stopped from joining the march, which has happened many times in London. But I predict at this stage that our arrival at Trafalgar Square might be a little tardy. We were due there at 1 o'clock. If you're looking for where we are, we're near to Farringdon railway station, or tube station. That's the, well, you'll spot the famous London buildings in the area as we do the broadcast. But a little bit chuffed that we are starting off in Islington, touching on the city, and then back in toward Westminster. Thanks for the stream share watching. Right, whoever 058029 is, since you haven't got the balls to identify yourself or speak to my face, shut up. If you listen to what I was saying, I'm looking at the messages now for the first time, you'll see I was criticising the police. Why are the police needed for a peaceful march? Why are reinforcements now walking up behind me? Why are the vans all parked up between us and the city? Of course they're here to control us. That's exactly what I was pointing out. Hi Sarah. Right, Sarah, at the moment we're still at the start point, just around the corner from Farringdon Station. We are a little late already, but
then that might not be.
But there's no big deal with that. The start, which is still here, is Clerkenwell Green. Literally, if you just do a Google search or Google Maps for Clerkenwell Green, you'll see exactly where we are. And as soon as I record the police vehicles, they change position. Notice that the police liaison officer just behind you for McLaren numbering starts with the letter U. She's part of the TSG rank.
Are they good? But she can say they're she doesn't look muscular enough to be. No, there are kind of. There's a police special forces.
Yeah.
They wear dark blue shirts and they are muscular. They really work.
Especially in the City of London.
They've got these dark blue. They got dark blue, and they look different. They're really bulky. I think like Marines. Probably some of them are.
Ze zit bij genodigd met hem.
Most likely.
They're like the copyrights. Enjoy yourself, but not too much. You don't have any late cards.
Oh Christ, I just remember now about last year. Guys, now with the time being 12:40, I'm going to jump off here and head on to my other stream on Bambuser just for 10 minutes, and I'll be back on here as the march leaves. Thanks for watching.